What is up, ACL Nation? Welcome into Baggin Braggin episode number 10. Double digits. Let's go.
We're all grown up.
We are in double digits. I feel like we're almost teenagers now. We got a pretty good show for you guys today, though. We're going to bring on Rosie Streaker to kind of go over her mindset and how things have changed and what she's got going on to get herself to the Super Bowl that she just took on Cheyenne Renner out in Glendale, Arizona, and talk a little bit about things that we got going on in our personal lives. So I got some bragging to be doing in a little bit. I'm excited for it. And then also a little bit later, no highlights because we're all caught up on the highlight reels as we head into Winter Haven for open number 8. But we got something a little bit better for you, Mindset with Meesh, to help you guys improve your game and get you where you need to be. Meesh, what up? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Can't complain today.
Yeah, I tried. It's not working, so I think I'm gonna go the other route, and we're gonna fake it.
You're not allowed.
Make it.
Yeah, you're not allowed to complain.
Yeah, it's actually nice outside, so I'm thinking about maybe taking a step outside first time in probably 2 or 3 days.
What?
Yeah,
no wonder you are faking it. You know, you have to be out in the sun. It is like a crucial thing for happiness is to go outside, even if it's just for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was actually, I don't know, TikTok's like trying to tell me something. I'm getting a lot of these 75 hard TikToks lately. It's trending on my profile for some reason. My algorithm says, hey, get off your ass and go do things. So, good. Yeah, I've decided. I woke up, I made the bed, I listened to that general YouTube video that I always do about how to start your day and how to change the world one little thing at a time. So first steps, make your bed. Second step is, accomplish something and basically keep going. So, yeah, I'm gonna go outside today. Go for
add outside to that repertoire that you have. I'm
going outside. It's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna walk out, sunglasses and a hoodie, and cover myself up. But
is it like super cold?
No, it's actually pretty nice out. It's like in the 50s, I think. So.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
I was saying, well, yesterday it was like 70 something degrees here. It was so hot. Like, what is happening right now? But a big storm's coming, so I'm going back to the cold, which I prefer. Yeah. So I'm excited about that.
Now, what it is, it's that weighted blanket. I'm telling you, that body pillow weighted blanket combination, it's divine.
It's divine.
It's divine.
Yeah, okay, that's great when you're sleeping, but when you're awake, you need to go outside.
Yeah. We're gonna implement it. We're gonna start going. I got to take the trash out. That's the only reason we're going outside. So we're walking.
Oh my goodness!
The street. But no, I'm gonna walk across. I'm going to walk across over to the gym and kind of get a session in real quick and make sure that I start putting those in every single day as well. Going to book all my flights for the rest of the year. So we're going to get organized. I'm actually going to pack today for my flight Thursday. So that way I'm packed 2 days ahead of time.
2 days ahead.
2023 Wally. Things are changing, Meesh.
2023 Wally. It's almost the end of February, by the way.
Yeah, whenever I say 2023 Wally, I get the whole year to become the person I want to be. So
even if it's December, it's fine.
Even if it's December 30th, I've done it. So, yeah.
All right. I mean, that sounds good. I like to wake up and I have to wake up and take Rum to school. But as soon as I get back, my automatic thing is I get on my Peloton. I'm obsessed with Cody Rigsby. If you get a Peloton bike, you have to work out with Cody Rigsby. Yesterday, wait for it. All in sync playlist. Oh my god, it was so much fun.
I watched This Is the End. At the very end, they had I think it was Backstreet Boys, and I was like, "You get one wish in heaven. Like that's a pretty epic wish to have a dance party up in heaven." The
Backstreet Boys. It was so much fun. I mean, it brought me back to in sync. I guess that's more like 9th grade, I feel like, for me, where I was like
the time machine here.
yeah. I was trying to remember if that was middle school or high school. But oh man, I loved NSYNC. I guess it was kind of a mixture of middle school and high school. But it just like transplanted me back there. Cody Rigsby is so much fun. He's dancing on the bike, and I'm dancing on the bike by myself, and I just love it. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I'm not going to participate in the Peloton because I don't have $2 million to shed out.
$2 million. It's literally like it's so silly because it's free financing. So it's like I could have bought it, but then it's like, well, or do you want to pay it over 12 months for 0% APR? Sure. So it's like, so it's like $100 something bucks a month.
No, I'm actually saving up because I think when my mom gets back from Panama, we're going to go look at a truck. think we're gonna be looking into a vehicle to kind of get these travels down. I got booked for a gig out in Wyoming. Somebody wants to book me for South Carolina. So we're starting to travel the country, and if I have to drive like I did to North Dakota, I need to have a reliable vehicle. So we're going to try and put something together. Yeah, 41 years old, relying on my mama. Credit score.
Hey, it's totally fine. On that note, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to find out what Wally has to brag about right after this. All right, Wally, you got something to brag about? Well, I want to hear it.
I got a lot of things to brag about.
Oh, a lot of things to brag about.
First thing, you might be able to kind of touch base a little bit on this, but I think I have just booked the best looking, best form, best technique cornhole partner for Spencer McKenzie.
Oh, well, I would have to agree with that. It's not me, by the way.
Yeah, Nicholas Thompson and myself. We're gonna go. I got down on one knee. I proposed to him a while back. He probably forgot. Yeah, he probably forgot, but then
he did not forget.
It's been reminded. So
he told me. He said, I don't know what we were talking about with Spencer's, and I was saying something, and he's like, "Well, I'm already playing with Wally. He asked me already," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." That was like what, a year ago.
Yeah. So I asked Trey what the schedules look like for the rest of the year for me, because I knew we got the Canadian Open. I think there's Europe in there, and there's the shootouts kind of spread apart. And I wasn't part of the Glendale one. I kind of missed out on those shootout finals, so I was kind of FOMO for real. And I was just wanting to make sure that we're on the same page with our schedule. And he threw Spencer McKenzie on there this year because I wasn't part of your guys' whole production last year. And I'm like, I've already committed to throwing with Nick. And I'm like, there's really not too much that's going to be there where we can't have a multiple like commentator shift type thing to cover me when I play. So I just wanted to confirm with him that it was okay for me to go out there and play in Spencer's. I mean, it's an awesome environment. If you guys haven't been to Spencer's,
you, by the way.
Yeah, so I figured Bernie will be there, Jeff will be there, Trey. We'll have the whole squad there, I think. So I think it'll be kind of fun to mix the best tournament with the best, content team and just have fun with it. So I got the approval to go ahead and play with Nick, and I'm excited. We're ready to roll, and I think we're on the same page too. I mean, sounds like everybody in the country right now is on the Sorcerers. So
they're on a Sorcerer.
Yeah, it makes it easy for me.
Absolutely.
I actually had a guy yesterday who was like, "Hey, you have any Sorcerers left?" I got one set left, man. I mean, I wasn't planning on getting rid of it, and he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So I was like, "Okay, I'll drive 45 minutes to meet you and give you the set of Sorcerers." So,
oh, sweet.
I'm down to my final set, unfortunately. So hopefully, I don't come across anybody else who's throwing the K9 Sorcerers in competition. I'll have to switch bags, but yeah, I'm excited to break them in and get them going.
We have a few. I think we have 4.
It has to have the logo on there. I mean, it improves the PPR by 2 whole points.
That's what they say.
Facts.
That's what the people say. All right, what else are you bragging about?
We're going to my next one? All right.
Yeah.
So I told you I haven't been throwing much. Threw in Winter Haven, got the blind draw. We kind of went over that. Went and played in some tournaments. I played in one other tournament since then. I wasn't really feeling it. Played in a cash game, won that one, felt good about it. Decided to head over to the regional.
Uh-oh. Shut up. You won?
Comp doubles, let's go. So yeah, first place. We did rounders, and it was kind of rough. All right. So the very, very first game, 4.43 PPR.
You threw a 4.43? Yeah, oh, geez.
Not feeling it. Feeling it. And it did get ugly kind of quick. We were throwing the K9 collab Samurais. So a little bit slower than the Sorcerers. So not exactly what I've been used to. Boards were kind of sticky a little bit at the beginning of the day. And my opponent and we just played the same style of game. It was just ugly. So missed airmails, missed pushes, PPR stayed down. And we went 0-1. And then the very next game, we had to play a team that was undefeated. So we ended up playing an undefeated team, even though we lost our first game because we were just on that bubble. So we went 0-2. Or no, sorry. We won the next one, then we lost the next one because we played Zach, the Rocket Anglican, and Christian Brown. So we played 2 pros. They were undefeated, and we were 1-1. We're like, this isn't fair.
Why were they in comp?
Well, it's rounders.
Oh, so you guys just do open rounders into the divisions.
Yeah, so we're like, okay, we And like we got blown out. So I'm like, we're not at the top of the 1-1s. You know what I mean? We shouldn't play a 2-0. So it was kind of weird how it broke down. Whatever. It's the software. It just kind of did what its thing. And then our very next match, we had to play Johnny Cox and Zane Brown, who are, Johnny's a former pro, and then Zane Brown's pro caliber. And we're like, what the hell's going on? Why are you guys 1 and 2? Yeah, they're like, no, we're legit 1 and 2. I'm like, why are you 1 and 2? Like, stay out of my loser section. This is where I belong.
You get out of here.
Yeah, so we went 1 and 3, and it was just rough. I mean, 3 out of the 4 teams we played to start were just really, really good. And then myself and my partner, Bryant Corder, shout out to him. You might have seen an announcement made that he is going to be doing articles for 27 Feet the magazine. So kind of bragging on him as well.
Cool.
Hey, where's our graphic, by the way, Meesh? What's wrong with
you? Deleted it.
No, bragging. Oh, I did. No, we be bragging's there. Oh, it's just mislabeled. Okay. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the tournament. Yeah, Bryant and I, we actually played some really tough teams in tier 3. So we're like, man, it would have been a lot easier to drop down to tier 4.
Dang it.
But we almost lost the first team that I threw a 4.4 against. I stepped my game up a little bit. We switched partners, so who we were playing against, and both our games kind of improved. We stayed on the winner's side. And we just went on a tear. We started throwing lights out. We got to the championship match, and my partner Bryant, I want to say he threw like over a 10 and point something PPR. Whoa. He was like, there's times where we're winning like 16-4, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I think you should just. The bag's already in the air. He's just throwing a short airmail drag, hitting his other one, knocking the opponents out of the way. I'm like, just whatever you want to do, man. You're on fire right now. So, yeah, he basically carried me in the championship. But I threw well enough on my end to earn it, and we had some tough opponents. But there you go, second regional championship in 5 years. I don't care what tier it's in. I'll take it.
I've never had one, so you got me beat.
I'll give it to you.
What'd you say?
I said I'll give it to you. I'll give you the trophy.
No, I need to earn it. Hey, I played like out of my mind the other day because we went down to this place that's about an hour and 40 minutes from here. Our friends JoJo and JD run it, but we've never gone. Or Nick's gone once, but I've never gone because it's a bit of a trek. Oh, this was Sunday. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know any of these players. You know how like when you play at your own local place, you know everyone's skills. So you're like, ooh, I gotta play against this person. That's you know what I mean. Like I had no concept of who anybody was, so I'm just walking up the boards blind. Like I don't know. I'm just throwing. And in the rounders, I threw okay, nothing great. And then I got that spot where I get the number 1. So I was 21. It was 21 and 1. So I got the best person. And it was this guy, Ross. And everyone's telling me, oh, this guy, Ross, he's so good. He like never misses. And I'm like, oh, great. Like I have to get this. I'm going to let him down. And so I'm just like, you know what? Nobody knows me here. No one knows my skill. I'm a girl. So they're automatically going to think I'm not good. So like it's kind of all playing in my favor. And we get up and everyone I'm throwing against is throwing like 9s, 10s, like I am like throwing the best I could ever throw. I think the first game I threw a 7.7, which is crazy for me.
Nice.
I'm normally a 5.6. and then the next
Do you
game
feel like people expect more out of us because we're big names in the cornhole industry?
I don't know. I don't expect anybody to know who I am.
I mean, but people know who you are, though, don't they? I mean, like when you go to play at these tournaments. Oh, so for me, everyone's. I've even had people come up to me and be like, I thought you were better than that.
Okay, no one's ever said that to me before.
Jeez,
I did have a couple people say like, I love your podcast. And I was like, oh, thanks. Like, but I don't expect them to know who I am when I walk up to the boards. And I don't think so. I always talk about what I throw. I'm a 5.6. Like that's what I throw. So I was like, dang, I threw the best I could throw. Like, I'm not even mad. Like, so we won our first one. We lost our second one, but it was like 19-21. So we almost won. But the teams we played against were like lights out, like crazy. And I'm like, dude, I can only throw so good. This is the best I can throw. I just can't compete with this.
Yeah.
And he was so nice, Ross. He was like, no, you do great. I'm like, okay. And like afterwards we're like walking out, he's like, by the way, I really like your podcast. I'm like, oh my god, he knows who I am. This is even worse.
Well, shout out to Ross.
Shout out thanks for carrying me to as far as we got. We hope we would have gotten farther, but man, everybody was throwing so well. So
Yeah, I do got to say the bug is back though. I'm
Good.
officially wanting to get back into cornhole. I'm gonna clean the house a little bit and set up the boards. And even though it's only 25 and a half feet, I think I'm just gonna start throwing on a regular basis
Not bad.
just to do even a deck around a day or something like that.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. All right, well, we are going to take a quick break and then we'll be back with a Rosie Streaker. So stay tuned for that. Welcome back. We are here for our interview with Rosie Streaker. Super excited to have you, Rosie. You obviously had an amazing showing to get yourself all the way to the final shootout for number 1. I know you've got this second place streak. So my first question for you is just, what are we going to do to break this streak? You got to get that number 1.
Yeah, I just got to come out strong that first shootout because I don't want to start with a lot of second places for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you feel like, what was your comfort level when you walked out there in Arizona?
So I felt very confident going into the game. I had thrown a bunch with Cheyenne during warm-ups, and then I just watched her throw not her best in Super Hole. So I thought, okay, like this might be a lot easier than I thought. And then as I was doing warm-ups, I was like, wow, I'm feeling kind of tired, but I was like, the adrenaline will get going. I'll like be excited and go through it. So as I went out to the boards, I was feeling excited. And then the boards were just a little bit tackier. And that's honestly my hardest thing in the game is making those adjustments. Like, okay, the board's a little tackier. Here's what I need to do to be consistent. And it just takes me a little bit longer, and it cannot take a little bit longer in those 10-round games to make those adjustments.
Now, are you the type of player that goes to the court with a couple different bags for different types of conditions, or do you kind of adjust your throw? Do you throw harder when it's stickier, or do you switch to like the dark slides or something like that?
I just brought sorcerers. I am loving those sorcerers, so I've just been adjusting my throw because they still move well. And the fast side for me isn't too fast. It's a 9, and I can still push through and move with it.
So you flip both sides over, use both sides of the bag, depending on the
for
board?
push I a lot of times flip it over. Okay. I didn't during that. I just didn't make that mental adjustment. My brain just didn't go there. Oh, flip your bag over, and then the bag will move easily.
Yeah. I was wondering that. I mean, you have to remember too, this was at 11:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So that's 1:30 a.m. Rosie time. So
yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Do you have that jet lag and that travel, delay in your body just doesn't, adjust properly?
I was definitely feeling it, but the excitement and the energy kind of got me pumped up and excited about it again. But I am a go to sleep at 8 p.m. kind of a girl, besides my one league night a week. So 1:30 was a little bit later than I was used to. But I was still excited and into it, but I could feel kind of like the fatigue, even though I hadn't played all day. It was just like kind of tiring.
Yeah. No, I can relate to that. And I was the opposite. I'm coming from the West Coast, so I actually got an advantage there on the time. But I'm asleep at 8 o'clock too, Rosie. I'm right with you. That's a little bit rough. But talking about those mid-game adjustments, it's kind of hard to practice for, I would think. Like, how do you think you could become better at making quick adjustments during the game?
So that's more for me. I try not to be in my head as much when I'm playing. I just kind of play and throw, and I feels right. I feel used to it. But I think mentally thinking more, even especially in singles, having that time when you can walk down and think, okay, why did my bag kick left a little bit? Oh, it's a little bit stickier. Oh, I should throw a little harder, or I could flip the bag over. Just really thinking more about my game as I'm walking down rather than whatever I'm thinking about in my head, thinking more about the previous round. Because I threw the bags, it's done, move on to the next round, which is very helpful when you have a bad round. But I think I might need to think a little bit more about those rounds as I'm walking.
Well, backing up a little bit leading into it, you had Cheyenne's number. I think the previous two times you played her, you took down both the championships. Was that conference and state, or what was that, where you were just on a tear?
Yeah, our last two conferences.
Conference, yeah.
3 matchups. In the first conference, I knocked her into the loser's bracket and then got her in the first game of the finals. And in the second conference, Sam knocked her into the loser's bracket. So I just split her the one time in the finals. So I had the last 3 games. So I mean, that gave me a boost of confidence too.
Yeah. Do you feel like she made any adjustments between those 3 matches to the shootout finals, or do you think just maybe the switching the carpet bag, or has she been throwing that out there with you, or what changed with her game?
Honestly, I didn't throw good. She didn't really have to do much that final game. She just needed to throw more bags in the hole. With me in women's, she wasn't really throwing the carpet. I know throughout the conference tournament, she was switching her bags, kind of just trying different bags out. But I think she was throwing her regular all slides, I believe.
Mm-hmm. She told me going into that game that she wasn't feeling super confident, or her normal super confident self. And so I was really wondering how that was going to play out. And even though you say you didn't play your best, she still got 16 in a row. Yeah, I mean, that's whether or not you're doing whatever you're doing on your side, like someone gets 16 bags in a row, you're like, oh, you know.
I like how the 16 in a row is not anyone else's best. Like, that's my personal high.
Oh, I know, right? That would be incredible. 16 in a row. So, like, does that weigh into your mind at all when someone gets a bunch of bags in a row like that? Does that change anything mentally or physically for you?
Not really, because I try not to focus on as much what someone else is doing and kind of focus more on like what I'm doing. So I was more frustrated that I was not getting all of mine in, or putting one right in front and they were just kind of a little bit left of the hole. I was getting a little bit of a bounce because I just wasn't throwing it hard enough.
Interesting. Now, you say frustrating, and I do wonder, because if I really pay attention, will notice when I get frustrated or mad or really any kind of emotion during a game, there'll be these subtle changes in my body. Like I might grip the bag a little bit tighter. Like, do you notice any changes when you start to feel some of those like frustrations or anger?
Maybe if I get frustrated, then I'll try to throw my next bag a little bit harder, and then one will go off the back. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a go-to thing for me, because then I'm like, okay, just throw it harder. Like you're strong enough, throw it. And then I'll throw it too hard. So then I'm like, so that kind of makes it worse for me at that point.
That makes sense.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen Rosie frustrated. I was kind of scrolling through Facebook and looking at all the different people that tag you at these tournaments. And I go, I lost to Rosie again. She's got this way of making me smile when she's kicking my ass. And like, I don't think I've ever seen you frown or upset or anything like that. I mean, the mentality that you show, at least you portray on the board, is amazing. And I wish I had that same thought process.
I feel like it's cornhole. We played cornhole for fun. That's how we all got into it. And incredibly lucky that now I get to play it all the time for fun. I mean, it's really, really lucky. So it's hard to be frustrated doing something that you love doing, or like angry. And even even those matches, I hope that I throw my best, and I also hope that the person I'm playing is throwing well too, because you don't want to blow out. You want everyone to like have a good time still, even at a competitive level.
Right. Yeah. So you kind of touch base on it. You get to do this now full time. Bernie and I kind of talked a little bit about it with Samantha on the bracket breakdown yesterday, about how, she actually has to go and work a full-time job still. And it's hard for a lot of these pros to manage both the personal job and the professional cornhole. So talk about your switch a little bit going into professional cornhole full-time and how it's helped your game.
So technically I do get to play cornhole full-time, but we have.
She's a mom of 3.
Yeah.
4.
That's easy stuff.
So even if I'm playing cornhole in the backyard, I probably stop every 2 minutes to stop and get someone a snack or a drink, or push someone on a swing real quick before I run down to the other side. So it's not like I get to play full-time. Yeah. But being able to stop teaching has really, really helped with the ability to be able to travel and then still get to be home with the kids a bunch, and still give me the opportunities to play and practice, where I don't feel guilty going to Thursday Night League, or don't feel guilty playing cornhole all day Saturday, Sunday, because I've then spent 5 days with the kids and I'm not missing out on things with them as much. If I was teaching full time and then trying to play cornhole on the weekends, I don't think it would be fair to them. So it definitely has helped, and I am a player who plays a lot better if I play more consistently. going into the shootout, everyone had just had the stomach flu for 2 weeks. So I spent 10 days sitting on the couch with kids and didn't get to practice. So I think I feel more confident when I kind of get to play more consistently. I'm hitting shots, I'm winning tournaments. That helps me out a bunch, but kind of just hanging out doesn't really do much for my game.
Just playing the game mentally in your head doesn't do it, huh?
Yeah. And the mini boards at our house and the behind the couch don't help much either.
No, I feel like it makes it worse, honestly, when I play mini boards. You have to adjust your throw so much. But, you know, I would venture to say that having 3 young kids is more work than a job in terms of how you're balancing things.
I feel like teaching was definitely easier than being home because they're your own kids. So it's just sort of different. I get yelled at a lot more at home than I ever did working.
Are they going to get into it? Are you going to force them into it so that way you can have practice buddies?
Mason is very into cornhole. He demands that I play mini boards a lot of the time with him, and I have to like talk him into coming out in the backyard to play. He'll be 5 next month, and he throws the long distance. He can do the whole thing now, so that's fun. And he's very into it. The girls like to stand there to get shot airmails over, or they like to move the bags to different spots on the board. Like I'll put a sticker and they'll put it down, like if I want to work on blockers in certain spots. So they'll be my little bag placement people, which is pretty fun too. It saves me some walking during those times. Okay, I need to throw more bags.
Yeah, shagging bags is the worst part of the game for practice sessions for me. So that's awesome.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal. And making like I'll be like, hey, Rum, can you get me a cup of water? Like I just feel like they come in handy, the kids, right? Like help you out while you're getting stuff done. Now your practice is outside. I know you're in Florida. Is there ever a time that you can't practice outside?
We're getting into rainy season and it'll rain every day, but it doesn't rain for very long. It's definitely a lot stickier outside here with the humidity. I think that's why I got into fast bags. In the morning, like midday, it's a lot. The boards will warm up, so it's slicker. So I like to kind of throw in the middle of the day rather than the evening because it'll be a lot stickier. So kind of can practice different conditions based on how the boards are playing that day.
Such a luxury though, like to be able to practice like pretty, because I know Florida gets rain, but if it doesn't get rain the whole day, like you still get time.
Oh yeah. And it'll rain here for like 2 hours and then it's fine.
Yeah, one of the things for me is like I was really excited about moving my apartment because they play across the street. They play cornhole outdoor across the street. And then I got my apartment and I have a flat sidewalk right in front. Perfect. But it's just so windy because it's right off of the highway. It blows all my bags just straight down. I'm like, this is terrible. So having a practice place is
getting ready for Spencer's.
Yeah, I'll be ready for Spencer's for sure. But let's kind of talk about the kids real quick. The highlight for me at the draft was whenever your kids came out, and we're excited for you to make the Blue Bear team. So how excited are you to be on the California Slingers, which is Meesh's team? She's already claimed you.
Yeah.
How excited are your kids about that as well?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about being on the California team. It's funny because we watched Davis make the logos all along, and that was his first logo he made. And the kids were very excited, and he's very, very much so a perfectionist and critical of his logos. So he asked them, like, what animal is this? And one's like a tiger, and the other's a raccoon. It's clearly a bear, but then he went back and perfected it longer for like hours. I'm like, if you ask anyone besides 2-year-old, they're gonna tell you it's a bear. Like, don't have that. So,
that's not the best judge.
No. But it was funny. So I mean, I was very partial to the Slingers going in, so I was excited to be a part of that team.
Well, we're happy to have you. We're very happy to have you. We love it.
To be a California girl,
right? Cali girl. I mean,
if you thought your sleep schedule was messed up in Arizona,
yeah,
it
gets worse. It gets worse. And by the way, going this way is so much harder because when I travel to Hawaii, oh my God, I cannot get it together there. But when I go to the East Coast, I can like make it happen. Like, so 3 hours ahead to me is okay, but 3 hours behind, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I can kind of see that too, actually, because whenever I go out to Florida or South Carolina, I'm fine. But California, it's just like, man, it's time to go to bed. And that's like 7:30. All right.
Wally took a lot of naps when he was here.
I did. I enjoyed them.
All right. So when you're playing in your local blind draws and things like that, do you have a different mentality? Do you look at that just as practice? Are you still trying to win? Are you looking at for a chance to win money? Like, what's your mentality going into those local types of events?
Local events, I'm definitely looking at to have like a good time. I'm also looking, I like to compete against someone. So in the backyard, I'm not getting that many opportunities to kind of have bags that are blocking and stuff. So I look at that kind of opportunities of how I'm going to play based on someone else's bag placement. And the other part, we've got an awesome group. And so I look at it as like kind of helping to grow other players like in our group. It's fun because we have a group and like one group will get like really good. And then all of a sudden there'll be like a new group and they're like growing and getting really good. So we've got a fun group in Florida. We've got a lot of pros too that play like locally with us. We have Justin Rule, Gloria Miranda, and then Scott Schultz.
I say the females out there are stacked. You guys are, you know, I mean, you got a lot of the girls that I've been seeing on Facebook make posts about, you know, they're excited to go play against you guys. And that's one thing that we're kind of struggling with here in Kansas City. And I've seen a little bit on Facebook lately about players not wanting to move up and play that tougher competition. They're kind of afraid to lose, if you will. Whereas whenever I came in, that's all I had. You know, I wanted to play the best. I went 0-2, stuck around for like 3 or 4 hours. But, you know, seen on Facebook, you know, Jasmine Prevette and Tony, what's her last name? Esposito? Zapata, yeah. She's, you know, they're all basically doing the same thing. They're commenting that they want to play the best of the best and that they're making strides against you guys. So kind of talk a little bit about your female competition, not necessarily the pros, but the up and coming talent that you guys have.
I absolutely love the up and coming girls. Jasmine's been around for a few years. I met her at conference. I might have been pregnant with Mason, and she had just started. And she came late to women's because she was nervous and didn't want to play. And she said she didn't want people to talk her into playing. And I was like, the next conference you have to play. And I'm going to message you on Facebook and we're now friends. And she's come and grown so far, which is just amazing. And it's just, I think the more that you're practicing and playing, I mean, Florida's got stacked girls. Tony's only been playing for a year and she has grown phenomenally. Her first big tournament was Battle of the Queens, and she's just grown and grown. With her, it was a little bit of getting over the nerves. At our last regional, we play women's singles, and I was undefeated every tournament every month. And then Tony knocked me into the losers bracket on that 21-19 game. I mean, she's really growing, and she was very, very excited. And I was just as excited for her because it's just fun to like see her grow and see the excitement and like the love of the game, especially with females, because there's not a ton of females in the sport. So
yeah, that's how it works though. You get your ass kicked for so long and then you get your first big win and you actually find out that the pros that you beat are more happy than you are. I'll never forget my first big pro victory against Brian Jones. I've lost to him like 21-2, 21-1. And then all of a sudden one day it just clicked. My blocker was on, my push was on. And I had a situation where I was like, I'm going for this airmail. I don't care. I hit the airmail. I got my points I needed. And then he had an unlucky kick. The bags clogged. And his final shot, he couldn't make anything. And before I even knew what the score was, he just reaches over, boom, big old bear hug, brings me in. He's like, you did it, man. You did it. And it means a lot for us non-talented players compared to you guys. Yeah, amateurs, yes. Beating your pros finally.
Yeah, but
that's how it has to be, because that's how you're gonna grow the sport and grow the players.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it kind of takes me back to why I originally asked the question about how you treat those like local events, because a lot of people take those $10 blind draws as serious as they would any other event. And it's not that I mean don't try and don't care and don't be competitive, but if you can see it as practice, like can I practice my blockers? Can I practice my airmails? Can I practice when the game's close? Like, if you can see it with that mentality that you mentioned, how you kind of use it, I feel like you'll get so much more out of it.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Honestly, sometimes at some of those blind draws, I feel more pressure to play better because someone is excited to be your partner. You have them partnered up and they really want to win their first tournament. And that's more pressure than sometimes playing a singles huge event because like you have this person with all these expectations.
So like you're supposed to be perfect, right? You're a pro? Yeah. So you don't miss. Not the case, right? No, I think that it's important to kind of have fun and see those events as different than a regional or a conference or a big event happening. And I think you get more out of it. But as always, Rosie, it's been awesome to have you on the show and spend some time with you. We absolutely adore you and wish you all the luck and no more second place finishes. I want to see that first place.
Definitely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Rosie.
Okay. Bye, Rosie.
Bye.
And now it is time to talk about betting. Now, we don't have any big events coming up until a couple months, but Wally, you said you noticed that some of the lines changed over the past few weeks here. So we're going to go through some of those and see what this changes in terms of who we choose. First one we're going to start with is Man of the Year. So let's bring up this graphic. So the smaller one on the left is what it was, and then this is the updated one on the right. So what's kind of sticking out to you in these changes here? Or who are you going for now?
I think I'm kind of staying right where I initially wanted to on this one. Devin Harbaugh at 1,200 still is one that entices me quite a bit. I'm still not really interested in Mark Richards for that. Where's Kyle Malone? I lost Kyle Malone. Is he on
Kyle Malone is at 2,500.
25. Okay. Where was he at before?
And before he was, where are you, Kyle? He was 3,500.
Yeah, so that one's the big mover for me. I don't know. What do you feel on that one? Because for me, it's really hard to maintain the trajectory that he's on the entire season.
I know.
I feel like his line is changing basically because a lot of people are taking him up on it because of his recent success. That's why the odds are going down quite a bit. I still think the money is there. I like the odds for it. I would be interested in it. But yeah, I think for the most part, I'm staying right where I was normally at with Devin Harbaugh and Ryan Windsor.
What? So Justin Burton Jr. and Doug Zaft were down there on the previous one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them here now.
Yeah,
who
kind of fallen off. They have. Well, let's see. We got Jay Rubin's on there.
Dylan Turpin. Dylan Turpin's a new addition at 4,500. I don't think I see him there. Oh no, there he was. He was at 4,500. Cesar Herrera was on the first one too, and he's no longer on it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a few people that were in there just to kind of entice the betting as far as name recognition goes. I was staying away from those anyway. Again, whenever we look at these long shots, you can place down maybe a $10, $20 bet, something like that, to kind of just wet your whistle a little bit. But for the most part, as far as going for the home runs, I like to stay near the top of the middle, if that makes sense. The bigger payouts with the people who are, basically they have the potential to get hot at the end of the season because in my opinion, this basically breaks down into three sections: one who starts hot, two who's getting hot, and then three who finishes hot. So I'm looking for who finishes hot as far as this Man of the Year goes. All
right, let's look at Women of the Year. Cheyenne Bubahive did not change. She's still at that minus 350. And a lot of these stayed the same. I was trying to see if there was any difference here. The only one I saw was Rosie Streaker. Was 2,500, now is 2,000.
Yeah, so we talked to Rosie. I don't necessarily think this changes for me. I think I'm still interested in Rosie at plus 2,000.
And then Sam Finley changed from... oh no, she's the same. 2,000.
Yeah, she's the same.
Was that the only change? I guess Rosie's the only change on there.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of shocked that they didn't add more ladies onto this. I mean, I don't really know what the pro women field looks like, but I do think that Rosie Streaker was the target point at the very beginning. I'm staying right there. I do have to say, though, I wasn't interested in Cheyenne at the beginning. I'm not sure if a future parlay option is available yet, but I'd keep an eye out on it if it does become available, because then that actually makes me interested in taking Cheyenne.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, and then we got Team of the Year. So we have the updated ones on the right. Looking for any major changes here. Obviously, the ones at the top are remaining there at the same. So you start to look at the bottom. It looks like Justin Stranger, Jeff Reynolds is no longer available. Are the any other ones?
Damon and Jimmy changed. I can't see if that was at 35 or 3,000.
Damon and Jimmy were 3,500 here. Nope, that's the same.
Stays the same. Okay.
Yeah, the only thing I'm noticing on this side is not necessarily any changes, but just some teams dropped off of the list. Wait, the Ryans here, were they on there before? Or they were 5,500.
Yeah, so same thing here. I'm looking at my big shot. The Zisuedas are very enticing to me. I have to see a little bit more from Dave Sutton before I hop on that train. So Jimmy Frazier, he's at an upward, path
Trend.
Right now. Mm-hmm. So whatever we see from Dave Sutton is probably going to change this line. So if Dave Sutton starts coming out, throwing lights out and just, shocking the world a little bit, expect that line to change down. So you might be able to get in right now for your best money on people like Tom G and Nico, Dave Sutton, Jimmy Frazier, stuff like that at the bottom. That's where I'm going to keep my eyes out. Another person or team that I've been speaking highly of lately, Alan Rawls and Chris Kingsbury. I'm all about the path that they're on right now.
Cool. All right. We'll take a quick break and then we'll be back with Mindset with Meesh and we'll take it from there. All right, we are back with our last remaining part of our show, and we don't have any highlights like Wally said because we're all caught up on the opens. We'll get some good clips this coming weekend in Winter Haven, but to kind of fill our time, one of the things that I love to do is talk about the mindset. We all know it's a mental game. I was listening to the radio. They were talking about how golf obviously is a mental game and why it's a mental game. And I just wanted to be like, just like cornhole, like why are we not on the same level as golf? Like in people's minds, like people look at cornhole and be like, oh, it's just a stupid backyard game you drink. But like, why are we not there with golf?
It's about longevity and sponsorship money. And right now golf has both of those on cornhole. So give us time. We'll get to a certain point where we can get the notoriety on it and people start talking about it a little bit more. I think the one thing that we're starting to see now is a lot of different people are popping out in different news outlets and, they're getting interviewed. I saw Lexi's, news segment the other day. That was pretty cool. So the more and more that we start getting publicity, we'll start getting the money and people start taking it. But I think all sports kind of transcend the message you're about to deliver as far as the mindset's a huge part of it.
Yeah, but cornhole more because there's time, right? So, other sports don't have the time element that we do. It's reactionary where ours is you have time to think, which can get pretty dangerous. But the thing I wanted to talk about today in the mindset section was actually a question I got in my monthly coaching call that I think is really kind of pertinent to, it actually kind of piggybacks off what we talked about last time. But a lot of people ask me, like, how do I get started in routines that are going to help me? And I think in cornhole, at least as far as I can see, getting the practice in isn't really an issue. People tend to get plenty of time with bags. I don't know many people have to force themselves to get out and throw bags. That tends to be the easiest part of the equation, whether it's going and competing or just going out in your backyard. People love the game, so they're not really struggling to get the hours in unless they just don't have the hours. But the part that people are, I think, are struggling with is all the other important pieces, whether they don't know what to do to strengthen the mental side of their game, or they're not carving that time out the way they are throwing bags. And it's equally, if not more important, in my opinion, especially once you get to a certain level. At that point, you're just getting reps in, but you really got to strengthen the mental game. And so one of the questions I got was, how do you get started? Now, she was talking about health and fitness, but it's all the same, trying to create this routine. And the hardest part is just getting started. And what I was telling her was the first thing you have to do is carve out the time on your schedule. And then you don't even have to do the thing with the time. Like baby step one is just saying, for example, every morning from 8 to 10, I'm going to do things to help strengthen my mental game or to make me feel better or to take care of myself, like whatever you want to call that time. It's just literally putting it on the calendar and saying like, that's what this time is for, which means that that time is not for working, whatever else you do to fill that time that takes away from you doing the things that make you feel best, watching TV, mindlessly scrolling on your phone, like that stuff can wait until after this chunk of time that you've carved out, which could be 20 minutes. It could be 2 hours. It doesn't actually matter. Then what matters is the consistency of the time.
Yeah, so once you stick to your own word, whatever you say you're going to do, make
Yes.
sure you actually do.
But it doesn't actually matter what you do within that time block. It's just that you've carved it out to do anything other than what you were doing before. Right. So that's like, and then in the beginning, you might not even use that time block to do that thing. It's like a baby step is just saying, I'm going to carve out that time. And then when the time comes, you're like, okay, now's the time I'm supposed to XYZ. Do I feel like doing that? Yes or no. So it's literally just posing the question. It's putting that at the top of your awareness. You can say no, because the one thing that will kill all motivation discipline is removing autonomy. The minute you take away your free choice, you will resist, no matter how good it is for you. So you always have to give yourself the option of like, okay, it's that time that I've carved out to do the things that make me feel best and are most successful. Do I feel like doing those things? Yes or no? And then go with that. It won't take long.
So for example, I have 3 p.m. today, make excuses to not do things. So that's good because I've allotted a certain time.
There you go. There you go. So you want to carve, and I like to call it self-care time or taking care of myself time, whatever you want to call it. And then the next thing you do is, or even previous to that, is you make a list of all the things that you know will help you be most successful to use that time. So it could be working out, it could be meditating, it could be journaling, it could be visualizing.
Simple thing for me today, just drink water,
Drink water. So consciously walking over to the fridge, filling up a glass of water, sitting down, drinking it. It could be, for me, like I can use that time to write music, play guitar, and it doesn't even have to be specific. All of these things will help you in your cornhole game, because the happier and more content and the better you feel, the better your game will be. So I know it sounds silly, like why would playing guitar help me in cornhole? But it does, because it puts you in your body.
Well, it breeds success. I mean, so that's one of the things that I've basically learned with Dave Ramsey and Financial Peace University, as well as 75 Hard, is it doesn't matter how big the goal is. Just make sure you put a goal down, accomplish the goal, even if it's something small, and then you start feeling like, okay, I've succeeded at this. We talked earlier about me making my bed. I woke up, I made my bed. I've already accomplished something today, so I'm breeding success for the rest of the day. So yes.
Yeah, that's what feels good, is doing something that was different than what you were doing. Mm-hmm. What feels the worst is the autopilot. Like I just keep doing the same things, and every day I tell myself, why do I keep doing these things when I know this would be better? Like that's what makes you feel crazy. Yeah. So doing literally anything else consistently is going to be really helpful. And then once you get into the habit of like, this is my time to do my things like this, then you can be more like, okay, now strategically, what makes me a better cornhole player? It really helps when I meditate, or it really helps when I journal, or it really helps when I exercise. Like then you can start getting more like specific into what you choose, but every day you still have the option to choose. So you might say the night before, tomorrow during that time, I'm going to work out. And if you wake up and you're like, man, all I want to do is like create a fun playlist for like playing cornhole later, then you do that, right? Like you follow intuition.
Okay. So is our goal here to create habits, healthier habits, or is our goal here to create small successes?
It's kind of both, but the only habit you need is to carve out the time. So like that's your time. Okay. That's the only habit you need to create. What you do with that time is irrelevant, which is where the small wins part comes in, because it doesn't actually matter what you do with that time as long as you're not doing the things you were doing with that time. Because that's what you already know doesn't work. We already know, because you're already having the thoughts of, can I please stop doing that? So you already know that doesn't work, and that's fine. So literally you do anything else with that time. And the things that most people do when they waste time is any kind of mindless activities or work, like, because work is productive. So it's really easy for us to do that in more time. And it's a good way to numb out, because we're like, oh, you have to work. And then the other one is going to be any kind of mindless activities, like scrolling on your phone, watching TV, like all that has a place in your day, but not during this time. So that's what I wanted to get out today, but I think we are out of time. So run with that and see how it works for you, and let me know. And that's all we got time for the show.
Thanks, Meesh.
Yep, you got it.